So Kevin, he's a really good resource. There's been more than a few times that I've come to him asking questions about the various things. These guys know their stuff here, so good resource. So hello again. I was here this morning talking about something. I'm going to give you just a quick tour of our new generation of displays. So in the cab display, and then we'll get on to the rest of the afternoon. So yeah, I've got on my PowerPoint over here, I've got the display hooked up to the TV on the left. I'll do some button pushing and just show you a quick overview here in a second on that. Not going to get into a ton of detail on this, but just a quick demo here. So InCommand Go 16 and Go 10. So the 16 is the bigger display, the 10 is the smaller display. You got a 16 connected up here. And a couple things here on the back side of the display. I wanted to point out that we have the same connector as the InCommand 1200 and 800, so drop right in, plug it in, and go. No adapter cables needed. Data-wise as well, I can either thumb drive or use that wireless Agfinity, and the data from any of the older displays, the 800 or 1200, will sync right over to these new displays. Guidance lines, boundaries, configurations, you name it, it will transfer right over. So I can have a mixed fleet of the new displays and the 800s and 1200s that will all sync together and work just fine together. So just a couple of things. Two main things I wanted to show you today. Number one is connectivity. We made a lot of improvements in that. And then the second thing is visibility on the map, being able to see what you want to see in a way that's helpful to your field operations. So those are the two things I want to show you. Connectivity wise, on the back here now, technology has progressed enough that we've got an actual cell modem built into the back here. So previous displays, this was a Wi-Fi antenna. Wi-Fi is now built into the monitor, and then the external module here is a cell modem. It's external and it's removable because we know that cell technology can update every couple of years or something. So if 6G or 7G or whatever comes along, simply unbolt that one, bolt the new one on, and we're still up to speed with it. But the beauty of this is I now no longer have to worry about a separate box that's a cell modem that's got wires and antennas by itself, or I don't have to mess around with a hotspot on my phone or tablet or whatever I might be using. I can still use all of those. It'll still work with this, but this does come with the cell modem. It's built in and it's ready to go. It is a certified device for both Verizon and AT&T. So if you have either of those services, you can go onto your account and add this with like 5 or 6 button pushes. It's pretty simple. And the plan I looked at for Verizon, I had it for like 20 bucks a month, and you could put it on vacation twice a year. So it's really pretty affordable for getting this connected. The biggest thing that I like about this, and this was a challenge for a lot of guys, if they're moving the display from one machine to another, which is fairly common, they'd have to grab their VR1 mini modem or whatever other device and move everything with it. Now with the cellular built in, I just grab the display and it's a lot quicker and easier to do that now. So connectivity is a big thing there. We are doing a free 90 days of data for any new displays, the Go 16s that are bought this first year. So nice little trial period there. What are the uses of connectivity? You get free remote support. So Kevin and their crew can remote in and actually fix problems for you. They can actually push buttons for you on your display from wherever they are. That's a free service for you guys, and very, very helpful. Saves a lot of time for both you guys and them. A lot of times problems are just a simple wrong button push, and for them to come out, drive out, cause you to stop, however long you got to wait for them to come out, that's all wasted time. They can remote in from their phone, see, aha, there's the problem, fix it, and you're back running. So that's one reason for connectivity. Another one is moving data without a thumb drive. So that's also free. So I can finish a field, done with harvest on that field. It's going to upload that yield map to my soil sample guy. That's going to tell him that you're done with that field. He can go pull soil samples, turn around and get a recommendation to you a lot quicker because that's all wireless and quick. You don't have to chase after thumb drives. So that all is free there too. So tons of other uses that I won't get into now, but connectivity is a lot easier with the Go display.
We did it this spring with a customer. It's like 45 minutes north of here, and they had 2 monitors running display cabs. They were able to get to run off their phones, but other guys really tried to do the phones and it hasn't worked real great. Mark tried doing it, didn't work real great because the phone it's been unreliable, whether it's Apple or Android.
Does that help on the support side as well?
Yes, very much. So I remoted into the guy's display and said, hey, we can do this new touch screen thing. Let's try it. Well, all right, let's try that. So we did it, and I set up the configuration for him, and everything went great. So then a couple days later, he called back and needs another one set up. So I started telling him, we'll go up to the upper left-hand corner and do this. He's like, hey, wait, can you just remote into this thing? I'm like, yeah, we can do that. He's like, oh, yeah, let's just do that. And he's done. Like, the nice thing is you can see us what buttons we're pushing on your screen. So maybe you don't have to call the next time, but it saved those guys us driving up there, saved me driving up there. So whether we need to go to a service plan or some point, you know what? I don't have to. Take me 5 minutes on the phone. I can do it from my phone, my computer, or my iPad. I can be sitting on my couch and you guys call in the evening. I can remote in. So we're going to really try to get more people moved over to this because it's going to save you money in the long run. You're not paying for service calls. It's going to save frustration. I have to have an Activity account to remote in. You guys actually don't. So
If you want to, and there's some farms that have a real techie guy and then a non-techie guy. So if the techie guy wants to help the non-techie guy within the same farm, then they need the Agfinity Essentials license to be able to do the remote support. But if it's just the dealer or our tech support remoting in, you guys don't need it. It's just the viewer that has to have the Agfinity. So,
If you have that monitor, it will automatically upload because of the self-service upload.
so you do have to have an Agfinity account, which is free, which is just an email and a password basically. You log in the display once you do that, and then you want to establish a sharing relationship with the dealer. So then they see your display. All they have to do is push a button and then they're in. And by the way, you guys always have control of who views or controls your display. So if somebody tries to control, you'll see a message that says Kevin Kelly wants to control your display. You have the yes/no power on the display. And it shows you there's a green bar that goes around the screen to tell you that they are there, and you'll see the pointer moving around and all that. So there's no mystery to it at all.
And I can't engage your autosteer. There's certain things I can't do. There's things I can't do. So it's for safety reasons. But you do have to have the Activity Essentials license to upload your data and then see your data on Activity.
To share it with a trusted advisor, it's free, or just to get to the file, it's free. If you want to do maps and reports, like some of the reports I showed this morning, that does require the Activity Essentials license. But just to move the data, that part's free.
Which is only $350.
So the way to think of these newer displays now is more like your phone, where your phone is always connected. And it's so much so that you probably don't notice it unless it's not connected, then it's a real pain in the butt, right? So that's how this is designed to be, that it's always connected and everything that you need, like satellite photo background type stuff, it's always there. And so that's what we wanted to get to with this new generation of displays. Yeah,
When you power down the monitor, does that power down too?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna start drawing batteries?
just like your phone. Yeah, if you shut your phone down, the radio, everything in it shuts down with it. Yeah. Same, yeah, powering up, it all. In fact, this connects to Ag quicker than you'll get the GPS signal. It's really snappy. It's right there. And quality of signal is really good as well. We bench tested this against the best modems out in the field, and it does as good, if not better, than anything we compare it to. So, good reliability.
Even works in lacrosse.
You have a cell tower now.
We did extensive testing on this display. We've had it out in its current mode for 3 seasons, and then a lot of prototype stuff before that even. But very robust, ready to go. Got all the bugs chased out of it. So typical Ag Leader quality there. All right, I'm going to switch over, talk about connectivity. I'm going to switch about visibility now. That's the second thing I wanted to show you. So there was a lot of feedback and requests on our InCommand 1200 and 800 of, for example, I wanted to do top down. I want to zoom out a little bit, but it stopped following me when I did that. Right, the icon could drag off the map, and so I couldn't get the view that I wanted to see in the InCommand 1200. I want to see my singulation and downforce at the same time that I see target rate and actual rate on my planting. Or I want to see my bushel counter and my guidance at the same time. So a bunch of different scenarios like that we didn't have the space to do on the 1200, and certainly not the 800. So we made the screen, it's the same height, but it's a little bit wider so that we could fit everything that we wanted to fit in without you guys having to change a bunch of pages and tabs and flopping all over the place. So that's why we made it a little bit wider, but let me show you some of these things that we did. I'm going to focus on the map here for the first little bit. So I've got my zoom tools are over here now. So previously I would just repeatedly push this button and it would switch views on the 1200, right? Now we've moved it over here. The reason for that, and you'll see this a lot, is if you think about a display mounted in a cab, what side is it on? The right side, right? Which makes the right side of the display the closest to you, easiest to reach. Most people are right-handed. So the right side of that display is a very ideal place for your frequently used buttons. So now we've got the zoom tools on the side here, so I can just brace myself on the side of the display. So I'm bouncing through the field. I'm not going to have any trouble there. Zoom to whole field, zoom back to perspective view, top down. All of that is right there, easy to get. I don't have to reach across the display anymore and hope that my finger ends up in the right spot as I'm bouncing through the field. So the view, we moved the guidance, the auto turns, the boundary, all of that now is on the right side. On the 1200, if you remember, all those tabs were on the left side. So I never thought about that until I ran this, and I was like, man, this is a lot nicer. The reach and the ease of use of that is so much better on that. So that's all over here. If I look at my guidance tab, all the buttons are the same. So if I knew how to set an AB line in a 1200 or an 800, it's all the same on here. Also, I've got the little menu in the top left. If I want to change fields, all the same. So there's a lot of familiarity here. We don't have to relearn a bunch of stuff. Everything, adding a new field, changing products, all of that is the same as the 1200. So very easy to to transfer over to this. Okay, back to my zoom now. I'm in perspective view. Now I can zoom out and see more of the field, and it keeps following me. This is my favorite view here. This is what I commonly use. I like the perspective view, but I like to be able to see more of the map like this, because that lets me see more passes of history here. I can see if my planter's acting up, you know, how many passes it's been acting up. So that's my favorite view, but or you might, you know, want to zoom way in and see a ton of detail, or somewhere in between. Either way, wherever you zoom it to, it stays locked on that and it keeps following you. So, yeah, an example of how one guy might want it zoomed in, another might have it zoomed out. You can do what you want on that now. Top-down view, some guys like top-down view. Again, you can zoom out, and you can move around like you could on the 1200 and go look at the, you know, this corner of the field over here and see what's going on there. But I've got a new button right here, this little crosshair. When I tap on that, it locks into my position and follows me. So again, I can zoom to the level I want, hit the follow me button, and it keeps following me on that. So again, set it how you want it and it'll stay there. And then the zoom to field is pretty much the same there. Just going to zoom out to the whole field. Again, I can lean around and move, do what I need to on that. So a lot of different visibility options there. If I open up these, we call them tiles, these areas on the left and right here. So this is my planter tile, so I see my simulation, my population, downforce, gauge, all that information here. I can tap on a specific row and see the numbers just for that row, or go back to all rows. I can tap on different information and it'll build a bar graph for me on that. And then I can hide it out of the way if I don't need to see it. Same with the other side here. We already talked about the guidance there a little bit. And then the bottom here is my target rate and actual rate, my rate control side of things. So here we're currently doing 3 planting products. If I have rate control for the population and then a liquid or 2 liquids, those would all stack here and I see them all at the same time, which is a common thing. You know, to see the population and the liquid at the same time. So that's all right there and stacked up. Okay, any questions on any of that? A quick overview. Kevin, did I miss anything? There's plenty of other stuff to see there. Feel free to come up afterwards and poke around on it. Oh, a couple other things I wanted to point out on the visibility side of things. In any view, so this view I'm in perspective, and I can see the prescription map, my planting prescription underneath now. I couldn't do that before. If I want this view or top down or whatever view, I always have that reference layer underneath. Here's in the combine variety mapping. I got that blue color underneath as a variety that I planted, and so I can always see that as well. So yeah.
Can you see that on the replacement too?
Yeah, the Go 10. Yep. Yeah. So all the visibility stuff I showed you is the same on the smaller Go 10 as well.
Is that 10? Is it wider also?
That compared to the 800, it's actually a little shorter. Well, let me back up. So the bezels or the border is a lot thinner on the Go 10. If you look at the 800, it had some, they're like inch wide borders around it. So that gave you a bigger box with a smaller screen. So we actually have a lighter, shorter display in the Go 10 with and then we went from an 8-inch to a 10-inch screen. So a bigger screen It is a little bit wider on the case, but the screen's a lot bigger on it. But yeah, all the same visibility. Connectivity on the Go 10 is the same. The only difference is the cell modem is optional on the Go 10. So you can buy it, you can bolt it on. It costs you $400 or $500 to add that to it. Yeah. And the Go 10 is the smaller display. Yeah, good question. I think the last thing I had to tell you about is we've got two promos going now. One is a trade-in program, so we can do any older Ag Leader steering systems or other brand steering systems. We can trade in and get a new Go 16 display. So that promo is there, goes till the end of the year. If you want details, Kevin or I can answer those questions for you. And then we've got a 1.99 financing going, and there's a 12-month save as cash program. I think that is it. Kevin? This is it.
These displays boot up a lot faster than Navigator or Case, and they beep at you a lot less. So,
Oh, that is another nice thing. Has anybody had an alarm pop up when you're turning on the ends and you can't see where you're going because there's a big alarm in the way? So that's all the alarms or alerts are up at the top right now. We don't block the map. So, another visibility. And there's tons of other stuff like that that got a lot better.